Hi everybody, welcome to Habit Hack number 64. It is May 24th and happy Sunday to you. All right, so today's Habit Hack, I need to make it pretty quick because I am talking all about how we so many times borrow from Peter to pay Paul. So that's today's Habit Hack. Habit Hack number 64 is borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. So what do I mean by this? Many of you have never done, well, maybe many of you have, but most people have not done major project management at work. And when I'm talking about major project management, a year or longer project. And so this project, half the national average that I started in October, is all about a year project of creating deliberate practice, 15 minutes a day for a long-term project that lasts a year, to see how much you can accomplish in 15 minutes a day moving toward a dream. Now, a dream can kind of sound overwhelming, so I just suggest that everybody start something if they can, to see all of the different areas that it could be very, very difficult to last a whole year on anything. Now, project management. One of the things you need to do is you need to figure out what the end goal is. Where do you want to be at the end goal? What does the goal look like? All of those things are important. Then you find out, okay, what are the steps I need to take? What is the skill set I might need to build? What are the things I might need to buy? Who are the people I need to involve? And you write all of that down, and then you reverse engineer. You say, okay, this is where I'm going to need to be here. This is where I'm going to need to be here, all the way till you get to day one start. And generally, day one start will be a 15-minute project that you need to take care of to get that year-long project done. Now, some of the things that happen that are not good project management for a lot of people. The very first thing I think is somebody in your life told you that life was fair or should be fair, and you believed it. I think that is the number one obstacle for people to really settle in and get to the work versus, complaining about things instead of sometimes that's the hand you're dealt with. So, and then the number two thing is we sometimes are too scared or embarrassed or ashamed to write down our real goals. And if we don't write them down, if we're too fearful to write them down, we're never going to reverse engineer, figure out the things we need, and then actually start work toward it. Now, life is going to happen. So, especially when the life of, or the project management of your life. So many people end up at the end of their high school years, the end of their college years, the end of their 20s, the end of their 30s, the end of their 40s, and they think, oh my gosh, I didn't do what I wanted to do. It's probably because they did not learn project management. Now, again, go back to reference number one. If life is not fair, then you're not guaranteed to have great parents. You're not guaranteed to have great foundation. You're not guaranteed to learn respect, dignity, work ethic, all of that. So if you find yourself in adult years struggling with discipline, struggling with understanding of finances, struggling with having a good work ethic, struggling to get to work on time, all of these things that are pretty normal struggles in today's society, that doesn't matter. You still need to learn them as an adult. So how are you going to do it? Start a 15-minute project, and you're going to learn the discipline it takes, project management, planning, organizing. What are your fears? You're going to learn all about the limbic system and how we make excuses and how do we overcome excuses and how can you just stick with something. So this project's a lot more than just facing your dreams. It really is a project of stick-to-itiveness. So all right, so what did I have? Now, sorry about this. This was in my purse because I did it this morning and I was at my friend Robert's house and Ellen's house. And I was going to do it at their house because they're such a beautiful house. And I was like, you need a different perspective. But we just got to talking and I didn't get a chance to do it. So today, this is my graphic. Very, very good graphic. Obviously, I am not working on art as my 15-minute project. So every one of us gets 8 hours. 3 sets of 8 hours. Every single one of us. Nobody gets more, nobody gets less. There's no shortage. Now, that's the one thing that is fair. Now, 8 hours, if you break it up into 3 categories, you have 8 hours of sleep. Now, we all found out the hard way that our body really does need 8 hours. I mean, I thought I could live on 5 hours and 4 hours, and I did live on 4 and 5 hours for decades and decades. But push come to shove, when you're stuck at home and you're not filled with anxiety and nightmares, well, as much, my body pretty much wants 7.5, 8 hours. So that was kind of a realistic moment for me, a moment of truth. Okay, so now it looks kind of clunky because in these 8 hours, I started at 1 o'clock in the morning, and so went 1 to 8, 9 to 4 in the PM, 5 PM to 12 a.m. Now, these 4 chunks of black from 8 to 12 and 1 to 4 should be sleep for me. So this chunk and this chunk have 4 hours of sleep each, so equals 8 hours. So 8 hours of recovery time. So yesterday's habit hack, I talked about recovery and how if you're going to do anything great, you need time to recover. You have to recover. And it just makes everything else, the other 16 hours, go more smoothly, more effectively. You can use more of your brain, and also you recover so that you don't get sick and hurt. All right. Most people have 8.5 hours minimum of work. So right off the bat, you're left with only 7.5 hours. And that's not including your commute, getting ready, if you have kids, if you have dogs, cleaning the house, so all of that. So this is a typical day for me. So let's go ahead and start down here. So starting at sleep time, right? I try to go to bed at 8. Well, let's start here. 1 o'clock in the morning, right? I should have 4 hours under my belt of sleep. So another 4 hours makes 8. And I get up 2 hours before I need to start getting ready so that I can grab 2 hours of deliberate practice toward my morning habit practice. So now part of that is I try to work out in the morning. I try to stretch, and I try to do my core workout in the morning. I also try, I'm not even gonna mention that because I just don't have enough time, because you can make coffee, and I also try to listen to podcasts or educational things while I'm getting ready, kind of double up my time. But those 2 hours are critical for me because you have 8 hours of recovery, 8.5 hours of work, so you're only left with 8 hours, really 4 hours after you take commute, get ready, bills, and chores, right? So you have 4 hours, so you're gonna have to sneak them somewhere. So here's my commute, starting my workday all the way to here, another commute, and then the yellow starts the sustainment. So you have, sustainment is work, right? You're trading your time for money to sustain your life. The rest is fulfillment. Now, the yellow is fulfillment for me. I don't have kids, so that's huge, right? People who have kids, that has to be your fulfillment. You need to find fulfillment in raising those damn kids because, trust me, you're not going to have a lot of time to do stuff for self-fulfillment. But you have to find time to do something. Trust me, you need to. All right, so here I get home and I have time for self-fulfillment. This is only about 4 hours before sleep time starts. 4 hours. So this little yellow-black area, it's because I have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. If I can't get my habit hacks done, I'm not really comfortable not checking off my box. So I am going to take away from the easiest place to take it away from, which is sleep. And I think everybody does that. But is it smart? I don't know. I don't think it is. I have to just get my habits practiced within lunches and breaks during the work time, I think. But so 4 hours. This is real. This is real. You have 4 hours to do everything in your life that doesn't have to do with somebody else's goals. And how many people? Half the national average. The national average, 4.7 hours of TV a day. So they're spending all of their fulfillment time letting somebody else fill their brain with something, either gaming or TV or I don't know. So I just encourage you. Habit hack number 64 is understand project management. Do not trade your precious time that you have during a day, during a month, during a year, on something that's really non-essential, on relationships that aren't moving anybody forward, on things that aren't going to improve your life. really take the time to look at the tiny bit of time that you have for your self-fulfillment and make every minute count. All right, so that's all I have today. It is an important one, I think. So in line with that, because so many people have found that they can't even afford to pay for 1 month of anything. I mean, it's a little scary out there, and the statistics are astounding. In this book, Boomerang, if you have not read it, it's Michael Lewis. It is fascinating. He wrote about The Big Short, all about the financial, the real estate bubble, the over borrowing. And so the Boomerang is all about pretty much the same thing, but how countries went bankrupt. And it's fascinating stuff, because if you really, really reflect, it has to do with this. It's just so simple. Project management. You cannot borrow more than you have any ability to pay back. Like, if it's impossible for you to pay it back, you shouldn't be borrowing it. And I mean, I'm gonna get off that soapbox, right? That's for another Oprah episode. But learn about project management, and you can do it in 15 minutes every day just by forcing yourself. If you can't carve out 15 minutes for your future, then you're gonna be in a big world of hurt in the future. So, yeah, not to be a big scary thing, but all right, you guys, I gotta go to sleep. I need my 8 hours, and I hope to talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in if you got this far, and I will talk to you back. If anybody wants this book and you're joining this project, please give me a call, and it is yours, because you don't want it to end up in the little library up the street. Trust me, I'd rather you have it. All right, you guys, have a great night. Bye.